Kim is a vivacious 17-year-old girl who is going to Paris for the first time with her best friend Amanda. The excitement that these two feel is absolutely contagious, and they have only one plan: have fun. Upon arriving at Paris, they meet a very handsome Parisian man who introduces himself as Philippe. He offers to give the two a ride to their hotel, and they both eagerly agree. After arriving at their destination, he invites them to a party later that night and tells both of them he wants to know what room number they're in, so that way he knows where to pick them up later that night. Amanda gives him the information without a moment's hesitation, and then both of the girls rush upstairs to prepare for a night that neither of them will ever forget. Hours later, their room is broken into, and both of the girls are kidnapped, thus beginning a terrifying journey for Kim, who is prized most for her purity. I'm sure many of you have seen the movie Taken, and if so, knows what happens over the course of the hour and a half. Taken is not based on a true story, but it is based on real-life events. Human trafficking happens all over the world, and millions of people are kidnapped or sold into slavery every year. I am going to tell you about human trafficking and the statistics of this fast-growing criminal industry. Human trafficking is very common, especially in countries with harsh economic problems. When I was a girl, we used to live in Germany, and my dad did several mission trips to the Czech Republic. On one of these trips, he happened to see that there were pink and blue curtains on several of the windows in a street. He innocently asked the driver if this was a way for the parents to let people know that they had a boy or a girl. The driver answered, "Well, yes." This was a way for customers to decide whether they wanted a boy or a girl for the night. These parents were, in a sense, pimping their children out. Many people actually defended these parents, stating that this was the best way to keep a family together. The statistics of human trafficking are absolutely overwhelming. 40 million people are kidnapped or sold into one form of slavery or another. 80% are female, 50% are children, and 85% of them all are sold as sex slaves. The U.S. has more cases of human trafficking now than any other time in history. It is estimated through humantrafficking.org that between 14,500 and 17,500 people are brought into the U.S. through human trafficking every year. There is a high demand for domestic service, construction work, sweatshops, and agriculture. It is estimated by ecpat.net that the average age of entry into street prostitution here in the United States is between 12 and 14 years of age. There have been cases of girls as young as 9. Many of these girls find themselves in this situation only after running away from home and putting their trust in someone who then manipulates them into selling their body as a way to pay back all the love and devotion this person has poured over them. Human trafficking can also involve infant kidnapping for the sole purpose of selling that child as an orphan. This is known as child laundering. It's extremely common in Asian countries, which is why Vietnam has now closed off all its adoption processes to American families. American families are their highest consumers, which then causes many of these people to kidnap infants to get the money that they would if these children weren't orphans. There are several websites that give information and help for people who are associated with human trafficking. Humantrafficking.org gives information on how to prevent human trafficking, how to rescue or escape if you find yourself in that situation, how to prosecute an offender, and how you can provide rehabilitation for a victim. In a world that is so advanced and has an air of civility, we live in one of the world's worst eras of slavery. Many of us are either none the wiser or choose to look the other way. I hope that after hearing a fraction of what goes on behind the scenes of human trafficking, many of you will choose to either take a stand and help those who help themselves, or just even inform other people of what is going on with this ugly, ugly criminal industry.